Welcome back, and this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. Today we're going to do a worth the price review on the Enzo Bonafe 3966 in Sienna Hatch Grain. If you have the moment, please click on the link in the description to my Light the Night fundraiser for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Every donation can make a critical difference to the families that are going through this and helping them deal with it, as well as the science behind finding a cure. Hey, before we get started, I just wanted to point out that I've organized all my videos into playlists on my channel. So if you're looking for more videos around a specific topic, especially topics like this with general shoe knowledge, you can find all of the videos in one place so that you're able to easily access everything that's out there. Thanks much. Hey everyone, this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy here. Today we're going to talk about some shoe reviews on some very exciting shoes from Enzo Bonafe. I thought I'd do something a little different with this one. This is a really special pair of shoes because this is my first pair of Handwelted Hatch Grain Adelaides. And 2020 for me has been a year of texture. And as I look at texture, the finest texture that I have in my entire collection has been Handwelted Hatch Grain. I really like the way it looks. I really find that the definition that it gives is really fine, and I love the way it looks on a complex shoe. And I've got to be honest, this may not be right for everyone because this is something that a lot of people feel like texture is good, it's not good. I used to be really anti-pebble grain. I used to really only want just smooth leather. Now I've got some of the hatch grain. I've got some of the I have some pebble grain. I have some Scotch grain. I have some London grain. Just a lot of different ones. I even have gotten into suede. Whereas if you look at my collection 4 years ago, I had one pair of suede chukkas, and that was it. So very, very big difference for me as it comes to texture. And really, the Enzo Bonafe, this is the 3966, which is a makeup by Shop Mera, really comes to mind now as we start looking at this. So as I look at the shoe itself, and I'll do a series of shoe battles on this where I compare it to every one of the Adelaides in my collection, but this is just a really, really fine example of hand craftsmanship. Now, Bonafe is known as one of the few that's out in the marketplace where he doesn't use machines for a whole lot, right? Most of it's done by hand. So these are hand blasted, they're hand welted, and as I understand it, they're also hand stitched. If I look at the fudging line here, the fudging line is just exceptionally fine. I'll take some pictures that I'll incorporate in on this. But you can barely see the stitches. They've just done a really, really good job with it. The lines around the edging are really, really well done. The sole itself is also well done. I love the last. I love the way that they've got these rises here. I love the chisel pattern here. Just the whole thing is really good. And while I didn't mix colors, I like the way that the grain matches from one piece to another. And I've come to learn that that's not something that just happens by itself. That is somebody making a conscious decision when they cut the leather to make it work a certain way. And those are the type of details that I really, really have come to appreciate in shoes. And really, that's part of the reason why you've got a $580 pair of shoes that I consider to be in the same level of quality as my $1,000 pair of shoes. And I think that really says a lot. From a waist perspective, it's got a narrow waist, it's got a fiddle back. This is actually something that they call a donkey waist. I have no idea why, but I think it is really handsome, the way they pull it together. Blind stitched. They have some detail work on the inside of the heel there. They do not have the gentleman's notch They only use 4 nails on the heel, which I think is very interesting as well. But it is a standard, diagonal cut on the rubber with a whole layer of rubber as part of the top lift, with a top lift combination leather and rubber. They have some detail work here. This is a 270 degree welt, so it's pretty narrow in, and it's under the heel, as opposed to a 360. And as I said before, the stitching on the top of the welt is very hard to see because it's really covered in fudging. As I look at the stitch density on the upper, it's very, very good. And I'm not sure that this is not machine stitched, right? I mean, I would be astounded if he took the time to do that by hand. But just a lot of really cool details. Like here, he's got on the heel. This is a single piece. It has no seams, and he actually went in and did a stitch line here to kind of mimic the stitch line around the broguing detail that goes across the edge. Okay. Now it's a very, very subtle detail, and I'm not sure if I wasn't polishing the shoes I would ever notice it. But that's the type of detail that I really appreciate in looking at a pair of shoes. And this pair just does not disappoint. As I look at the two of them combined, the symmetry is perfect. They just do a really, really solid job of pulling everything together. So in addition to that, there is a really nice level of burnish on the shoes. This is factory burnish. This is not something that I did, and just really looks like they took a lot of time to pull it together. So shopmara.com is where I bought them, and Enzo Bonafe is the maker. For $580, I really consider this to be along the same lines as your $1,000, $1,200, $1,400 shoes. But again, hand welted, hand lasted, and just a real treat and a valuable part of my collection. So thank you.